So what is going on? I mean, this weather keeping things going pretty good yet, or?
Yeah, so far so good. We're still getting the temperatures we need, so that's good. Big news, good news. By noon today, the bridge on Highway 65 by Sheffield will be open, unless something really weird happens. But
Like a
it sure
snowstorm?
looks, yeah, it looks like that will be open by noon today. So again, we
Okay.
thank everybody for their patience and everybody who paid attention to the road closed signs and used the detours and everything. We really appreciate it, and that should be open and ready to go by noon today. So enjoy.
Yeah. How about that, Floyd? How's that thing coming over there, that intersection?
Going well. We've got well, pretty much all the concrete work done. There's some work that needs to be done as far as on the county road underneath the bridge. There's some work that needs to be done on the ramps, tying them in to the main line. But it's progressing well. A lot of the asphalt shoulders are done. That will hopefully be done by the end of today, hopefully, or else on Wednesday. We are still shooting for the end of the month to have that open. So we'll have more updates. We'll know more next week and of course the following week, but we're still looking at the end of the month. So things are going well.
You have a
Things
ribbon
are
cutting?
no, we will not have a ribbon cutting. We're just gonna get it open and let people go.
Oh, okay. All right. Just checking.
Yeah, understandable. Plus we gotta be back next year, so we'll
Oh,
we'll see what happens a year from now.
okay.
The project west of Britt, Hancock and Kasuth County, the resurfacing project's moving along. Still, it's going to be the end of the month before it's done, but we're making progress, so that's good. The bridge on Iowa 17 by Renwick, that should be open on the 23rd, which is the day before Thanksgiving. The patching project, we talked a little bit about that last week between Manly and Northwood. They're actually working between Northwood and Kensett. They are working up there right now. They do, the temperatures are going to be pretty good the next couple days, so there will be flaggers and pilot cars, if we mentioned last week. But the thing is, they are probably going to be shutting down either Wednesday or Thursday and coming back next year, which this project was expected to extend
Sure.
into next year because of the late start. And that's what happens this time of year. They work as long as they have temperatures, and then they shut down. And I-35 patching, it's a big project right now. It's going to kind of run between exit 159, which is about 30 miles south of Clear Lake, and the Minnesota border. They've gotten a few patches in, but they're going to be doing the same thing. They'll be working and then shutting down Wednesday or Thursday for the year. Right now, they are kind of in the Dallas area, milepost 165. So if you are driving in that area, be aware of a lane closure. Then one more thing we want to talk about. We're not quite sure when it's going to start yet. Um, it's called a clearing and grubbing project. What it is removing dead trees from the right of way, and this is a big project. It's from the Boondocks, exit 144, so about 50 miles south of Clear Lake,
Right.
and up to Iowa 9. The big part of that project is going to be just south of the 193 exit, which is the Clear Lake exit to like Old Highway 106.
Right.
Um, there are a lot of trees just south of there. They are trees that have started to die, started to show signs of dying, and there's a lot of ash trees in there. And with
Mm.
the emerald ash borer, we will be removing all those trees. It's going to
Mm.
look a lot different. There's a lot of trees there, so be aware when you see that happening. We will be back in once they are removed. We will be back in and planting new trees. So again, that'll be happening. We're not quite sure when they're going to be starting. It could be tomorrow. It could be in a couple weeks, but that will be happening. So if you see crews out there working, there will probably be a lane closure. And again, there's going to be a lot of trees coming down, so it's going to look a lot different. But again, we will be back in there when the project is done to plant new trees.
I'd say, and that'll be the biggest fundraiser for the Iowa DOT here in Saragota area with firewood sales.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what the contractor does with those trees. That's there. I
Oh,
know they do chip a lot of them and turn
oh.
them into mulch and stuff. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of trees coming down.
You
It's
imagine
it's going to look a lot different out there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it will for sure. So, well, good deal. Well, thanks for the update, Pete. And of course, we do the video in case you missed it or just tuning in. We also have things scrolling across the bottom for the road reports year round. You can now download that mobile app 511ia.org and also online as well. Well, at the same website.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to get even more, obviously we've talked about it a lot. I appreciate
Mhm.
as much as you've pushed it too, because it's such a good resource, the 511ia.org and the 511IA app. And hate to talk about it, but it could happen any day. We're getting closer to when those road conditions, the winter road conditions, are going to be a factor. So obviously a great resource. It has the plow locations. It has the snow plow cam photos from the front window of the snow plow. So make sure you've got it. Make sure you're ready with it. And I've mentioned it before. If you don't have it, if you don't use it a lot, download it, open it up, and just play around in there. Just get familiar with it, see what it can do. That way, when you do need it, you'll be familiar with it and you'll be ready to go.
I will say one thing though, Pete. The pictures don't do the weather justice in some of those snow plows, because I've looked at it before leaving. Whether it's going home from work or whatever, I'm going, well, it doesn't look that bad. And then you get out there and you're like, oh boy,
You
hang
got to,
on.
yeah, exactly. You got to remember that that's a picture. That's a
Right.
snapshot.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
doesn't show when a gust of wind comes through. It doesn't show if we get a snow squall or it starts snowing heavier, but it's not going to be exact, but it is going to give you an idea of what to expect.
Even when I've taken pictures when I'm in the passenger seat, Pete, of the roadways,
Sure.
how bad it, you go, oh my goodness, it's so bad. I gotta take a picture and show somebody or post it on social media. And you look at it, you take the picture, you go, well, this doesn't look bad at all.
Right. It's crazy, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
pictures sometimes can be amazing and sometimes it's like, yeah, I didn't quite get it. But like I said, it'll at least give you an idea. It'll let you
Yep.
know that, well, this is what it is right now. It could be worse. So again, like I always say, the main goal is to give people as much information as possible so they can make a smart decision on whether they should be on the roads or not.
Yeah. If you have any doubt, just stay home.
That's the way to do it. That is exactly the way to do it. If everybody thought that way, things would be a lot safer.
Yeah. Who's looking for excuses to stay at home?
Yeah, depends on the day, right?
Jay, you're 3 blocks away. Yeah, but it's so bad out.
Right. Yeah, depends on the day, depends on the circumstance.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hey, big day today, Pete. We got voting.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's
The polls.
gonna be interesting.
Yeah. I think they're open now, I think.
Yes, they open at
Yeah.
7.
Yeah. So if you get a chance to do that and want to kill some time, do it on your work time, maybe lunch hour, maybe you got a break. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to go vote.
Yeah, I encourage everybody to do that. I know I'll be doing it later today.
Yeah, I know. But I tell you what, and remember, I've told people too, I said, make sure you have your driver's license, a piece of mail, like your water bill or something to take if you've just recently moved.
Correct.
And because they're going to have the old address on file.
Yep, that's right.
So,
And yeah, and that's great. As much security at the polls is great. So be prepared when you get there with your, as you mentioned, your driver's license, and if you have recently moved, a utility bill or something showing your place of residence.
well, here's a fun thing. The wife had an extra worker come join them yesterday as she was trying to vote early at the courthouse
Okay.
because, she showed her driver's license. They had on file our old address. And so, because we recently moved here back
Sure.
in July, August. And so, yeah. And my wife's driver's license was from
Okay.
Garner driver's license, Mason City, old residence.
Sure.
And now a totally new address for Mason City. So talk about going, wait a minute here.
Sounds like you need to stay in one place a little bit longer.
Goodness gracious. I was starting to think about all the, I moved 3 times since moving to Mason City in 2 years ago.
Sure.
I've had how many different vehicles? I've had a van, I've had a truck, I've had a Jeep, I've had a truck, I've had a Jeep. And yeah. And the wife's had 2 cars in there too.
Do you have commitment issues, Jay?
No, because I've been married for 29 years, Pete.
Yeah, I know.
That's the only thing that's stuck around that long.
Hey, don't set it on a tee if you don't want me to swing.
Oh, Pete. Oh, it's always great to talk to you, Pete. But a big win this weekend too with the Vikings. Can you believe that?
And that when Bynum ran or the ref and Bynum collided and they got a touchdown out of it, I just thought, no, it's just not our day. It's just not going to happen. But
Yeah.
they don't quit. They do not quit.
Boy, and now we got a new addition here. some people knew, some people didn't know. TJ Hawkinson is on the team now. He's a big asset now.
He is going to be great. You figure he was there for what was the trade deadline? I think was Tuesday.
4 days.
Yeah. And he was that involved in the offense. Wait till he's gets more of the playbook, and it's going to open some more things up. It's pretty exciting. And obviously, being a Hawkeye fan, it's nice to see him there. Plus, he is an Iowa native. He's got ties to this area, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and his number was 88 when he's in Detroit, but now he's 87 with the Minnesota Vikings. I was a little upset. One of the plays when Cousins got sacked on Sunday, I'm like, who missed that block? Because the guy can't run right in. It was Hawkinson.
No,
I'm going,
tell you what.
I gave him a break. I said, you know what? He doesn't know the offense. He just missed a block. Oh, well. But he came back and made up for it.
He did. And I actually heard a national radio guy talking about there were several times. Actually, it might have been Mark Schlereth who was doing the game. Hawkinson was blocking a defensive end. And he said, tight ends don't get paid to block defensive ends. He said, that's the tackle's job. And he said, if Hawkinson can do that, that's a huge, huge plus. Don't get me wrong. It's part of their duties every once in a while, but he was pretty effective at it. And the other thing I was going to say is, as hard and as many times as Cousins got hit, he just continued to stand in there and make throws. And I thought that was pretty impressive.
Well, then after the locker room atmosphere is just unbelievable in there. You know,
there's something with this team. They've really connected, and I obviously give the coaching staff a huge amount of credit for that. So, but tell you what, you look at that schedule, we're 7-1 right now. 4 games, we could easily be 7-5 with the teams we've got coming up. So we'll see. It's fun for right now.
The Bills were beat. We play the Bills this weekend. The Bills got beat last weekend against a team that cost me money because I didn't think that they would beat the Bills. You know, I'm like, man, I'm telling you.
Oh, I've mentioned it before. There's a reason Vegas never has a problem paying the light bills.
Oh, because I pay half of it every month. I tell you, it's just something else. But no, it's been fun. And then the Packers, I don't know what's going on with the Packers. You know, they're just. I haven't seen the whole pack go this year on social media.
Yeah, no, there's they've been struggling. I expected them to start slow, but I never expected them to struggle like this. Plus, and I know it's part of the game. Every team deals with it, but they have been hit pretty hard with injuries too. So
yeah, well, we'll give them that.
Yeah.
Ask any Packer fans. I know you're listening. How many trophies do you have at the case?
That's right.
We have none, Pete, but that's okay.
That's right. Living in the now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was years ago. That was in the past. Who cares?
I do.
Oh. All right. Well, tune over to our YouTube sports channel with Jay and Pete.
Right.
Pete, have yourself a wonderful week. All right. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right. You do the same, Jay.
That's the good stuff.
Well, there's always good stories going around, and here's a few of the headlines. A 20-year